I stand before you today to uncover every distortion and expose every mask. Yes, I am Ibrahim Traoré, the young military leader whom you label as radical, whom you portray as anti-Western, and whom you brand as a dictator. But today I stand as truth. This time, your microphones cannot be switched off. This time, your cameras cannot turn away. This time, your editors cannot cut my words, because the world you once monopolized no longer exists. Millions will hear me now, unfiltered, unedited, undistorted. I am 34 years old. For as long as I can remember, I grew up with your lies. As a child, I watched Africa on television. Always the same images: children with flies, barren lands, famine, war, and death. You told us this was Africa, and we believed you. We were ashamed of ourselves, our lands, our people. But I grew up. I read. I researched. I questioned. And I understood. The Africa you showed us was not real. The story you told us was a lie. The destiny you wrote for us was a script designed to serve your interests. How have you portrayed Africa? As if we had no humanity. As if we were savages outside civilization. As if we were helpless, waiting for you to save us. Every day, every hour, every minute, the same narrative repeats. Hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. In your Africa dictionary, there are no words for hope, success, pride, or victory. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, The Guardian, Le Monde, how many times have you written about Rwanda's technology revolution? How many times have you reported Ethiopia's reforestation project? How many times have you praised Botswana's democratic achievements? How many times have you highlighted Kenya's entrepreneurial ecosystem? No, these do not fit your scenario. Your Africa must always remain broken. Because if Africa succeeds, how will you justify exploitation? If Africa prospers, how will you intervene? If Africa rises, how will you look down on it? Let me give you real numbers. Africa holds 70% of the world's cobalt reserves. Your phones, your computers, your electric cars run on Congolese cobalt. Yet Congolese families cannot afford a phone. Africa holds 90% of the world's platinum. Your industries thrive on it. Yet South Africans face crushing unemployment. Africa produces 30% of the world's gold, from Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Tanzania, yet our people remain poor. Africa supplies 65% of the world's diamonds, from Botswana, Angola, Congo, Sierra Leone, yet our miners live on $1 a day. Africa owns 35% of the world's uranium, powering Europe's cities. Yet our own villages remain in darkness. And you still ask, why is Africa poor? No, the right question is, how has Africa been kept poor while being so rich? The truth is clear, colonialism never ended. It only changed form. Yesterday, you came with armies. Today, you come with corporations. Yesterday, you ruled with the whip. Today, you rule with credit and contracts. Consider this. Glencore, mining cobalt in Congo. In 2022, it made $256 billion in revenue. Congo received only $500 million in taxes, a mere 0.2%. Rio Tinto, mining bauxite in Guinea. It extracts millions of tons annually. What remains for Guinea? Pollution, disease, and despair. Total Energies, the French oil giant, profited $36 billion in 2022, while African oil communities are left with poverty and poisoned lands. Anglo-American, once founded in South Africa, now headquartered in London. It takes diamonds, platinum, iron, and leaves behind 6 million unemployed miners. These are just the visible examples. The invisible theft is even greater. Offshore accounts, secret deals, transfer pricing tricks. Every year, $88 billion flows illegally out of Africa. And yet, what makes headlines? The $4 billion in aid that comes in. Africa does not receive aid. Africa gives aid to the world. While your cameras zoom in on hunger, the truth is silenced. Our gold, our oil, our diamonds, our cobalt, our uranium leave our lands every single day. How does the system work? 1. Corruption, bribe leaders, send their children abroad by their loyalty. 2. Deals, 50-year concessions, tax exemptions, no labor rights, no environmental rules. 3. Infrastructure control, ports, airports, railways, but only from mine to harbor. Never to villages or schools. 4. Security, private armies to crush protests, to silence voices. 5. Media manipulation, local journalists bought, international headlines twisted. This system has worked for a century. And who sponsors your newspapers and TV channels? Oil companies, mining companies, arms dealers, pharmaceutical giants, the very corporations exploiting Africa. France drains Africa through the CFA franc system. 14 countries forced to keep reserves in the French treasury, losing billions each year. Britain launders Africa's wealth through the City of London and its offshore havens. The United States controls Africa with AFRICOM, 46 military bases, drones, and surveillance. Not against terrorists, but against African sovereignty. China, too, comes with loans and infrastructure, but behind them lie 99-year concessions and debt traps. And your so-called free press writes almost nothing about this. Why? Because you are not free. You are corporate media owned by billionaires. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News and the Times. Carlos Slim, a billionaire from monopolized telecommunications, is the largest shareholder of the New York Times. Do you call this independence? Your editors, graduates of Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge, they all share the same worldview. Your correspondents in Africa speak French and English, but not Swahili, Hausa, or Yoruba. You never listen to us in our own voices. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa is not a land of despair. Africa is a land of strength, resilience, and untold wealth. We are not your victims. We are not your charity case. We are not waiting for your saviors. We are rising. We are resisting. And this time, the world will hear us, unfiltered and unafraid.